Hey y'all, it's Dewberry, and I'm here on my porch in beautiful Porterdale, Georgia. It is a gorgeous day here, and we're almost to autumn. We're about 3-4 days away from it being officially autumn. And as I promised, we are going to talk about eggs. If you are primal, keto, ketovore, carnivore, and you're frugal like I am because I live on a shoestring type budget, eggs definitely will be a part of your diet because it's a protein that's A, high quality, and B, even the best eggs, the most expensive eggs, are still pretty reasonable. So let's get in and talk about eggs and why they should be part of your diet actually on a day-to-day basis, because even the big wigs that villainized eggs for years have sort of come back and said, oh, our bad, eggs aren't bad for you at all. Now there are exceptions to every rule. There are people who cannot have eggs. This is not for you, and I'm sorry that that's what it is, but that's what it is. So we'll just leave it at that. So one egg contains 78 calories, and I've got notes because I'll never remember all this. 6 grams of protein, 5 grams of fat, 186 milligrams of cholesterol. They're a good source of vitamin A, folate, B5, B12, B2, phosphorus, and selenium. They're also really, really inexpensive. And also, if you see eggs that are about to go out of date, according to the National Egg Council, the best buy date, you have 2 to 3 weeks after that date as long as they're properly refrigerated. So that gives you a lot of time. If you're just someone who only eats eggs, I literally eat eggs pretty much every day. And then we're also going to talk about the different types of eggs that you're going to standardly see in your store. Now, if you can get farm fresh eggs in your area from a farm where you can go and actually see where the hens are raised, that's really the best, but it's not always easy to do. So just looking at the grocery store, if we're talking about standard, inexpensive eggs in my area right now, a dozen eggs is $1.13. Now this can be different wherever you are, but and that's about 9 cents an egg. So as a protein source, what can you think of that you could eat 2 or 3 of them for literally less than 50 cents? Organic cage-free eggs are running $3.93 a dozen in my area, which makes them about 32 cents per egg. Organic free-range eggs are running $4.94, and that's about 41 cents an egg. And pastured eggs are oddly enough running $4.93 at, again, 41 cents an egg. So to give you an idea, I don't know how you feel about the way chickens are raised and chickens are handled, but just to give you an idea, all of these eggs are fed a soy and corn diet with the exception of pastured eggs, which have some of that in their diet, but their diet varies. So standard eggs, the chicken has, by law, 67 inches of space per bird in the cage where they're kept. That's not a lot of space. Organic cage-free eggs have 1.25 square foot, which is more, right? Organic free-range eggs have 2 square feet, and pastured eggs have 108 square feet, required by law in order to be labeled that way. Now, the downside to pastured eggs is a lot of that industry is not really regulated so much as their claims, but there are going to be different agencies like Certified Humane who actually go and look at these farms and make sure that they are doing what they are supposed to do. So I look for that label. So let's just talk about like the quality of life for the bird may not matter to you because your budget is that tight, and that's really okay, right? You have to sort of go where you are, but like I had to print out and look at because all these names really sort of get confusing. So cage free only means that they are not kept in cages. It does not mean that they're outside running around eating bugs. It doesn't mean that they're doing anything else. It just means they're in a big room and they have perches and they have access to food and clean water, which is not a bad thing. Standard eggs are going to be pretty much caged their whole life. Free range just means that they have access to the outdoors, but they're not put outdoors because chickens will just sort of stand around. If you were raised around chickens, you know that it's sort of a term that makes you feel better about the bird and how they're raised, but it may not actually mean all that much. I've recently, even in my tight budget, started buying pastured eggs because they are actually outside. I recently put a picture of 2 egg yolks. One was, I believe it was cage free, and the other one was pastured, and the color difference was huge. Now the shell of the egg does not have anything to do with the quality of the egg inside. There are different kinds of chickens that lay different color eggs. It doesn't mean that the egg is any worse or better for you. Brown eggs are not inherently better for you than white eggs. or blue eggs or green eggs or whatever color you may get. It really has to do with the type of hen that laid them. But you definitely can do the best that you can with what you have. And for me, pastured eggs, they taste better. There is a taste difference. Unfortunately, if you go into the grocery store and you look at 10 different egg cartons from 10 different companies, pretty much all of the nutritional information is the same, because that information comes from a database that they use. Because it's really impossible for them to check every type of egg, and its cost, it doesn't make sense for them. Like, they just don't do it, which is fine. So there are no specific tests really done on pastured eggs, but chickens are omnivores. They will go outside and they will eat bugs. They'll eat spiders. They'll eat anything basically they can get a hold of, including each other, because chickens are just that way. So it would stand to reason that from a soy and corn fed diet to a chicken that goes outside and eats what it was intended to eat along with that diet is going to be better for you. But if you look at the containers, it's not going to be any different. But definitely, if you're thinking about how quick it is to cook eggs, like I personally make deviled eggs about every 3 days. I love them that much. Like, good with anything ever. Like, it's just the perfect food besides buffalo wings, which I guess the chicken is my favorite. But some things that you can do, like you can make a frittata. You can make a crustless quiche. You can put chopped up boiled eggs on a salad. You can make a burger patty and put the egg on top of it and let it ooze over if you like runny eggs, which I don't. You can do all kinds of things with eggs. They are super quick to make. Scrambled eggs and bacon, the classic, absolutely is something that you could do to help keep you on your eating plan, because I love to cook fancy sometimes. Like, I have been known to make ossobuco for one, because it's just the process of sort of slowly braising the meat all day long. But it's not something that I do on a daily basis, because I have a life too. I have to get out. Like, I have to go and mow the grass, which is something we do a lot here in the South, because as soon as it rains, the weeds take off, because my yard's mostly weeds. So it's one of those things where eggs can really get you out of a hole. Having boiled eggs in your refrigerator at all times, once you boil them, they're good for 7 days. So you have 7 days. So if you boil 6 eggs, you're good to go. My next video, I'll actually do a recipe, so we'll get in the kitchen and we'll cook outside. I have all kind of cooking utensils and things. But we'll actually cook something, and you can see what a primal meal looks like. So you can definitely find your way to eating primal, and you will see your blood sugars go down. You will see your insulin go down. If you have checked your A1C and it's 5.7 or above, you can see those numbers come down. This is what a primal ketovore, carnivore diet can do for you. If you are eating a standard diet, and we will talk about this moving forward, where you are having tons and tons of sugar, you will realize the huge difference it makes when you cut that out of your life. When you let go of grains, when you let go of eating fruit constantly because someone told you that a fruit smoothie was good for you. We don't generally eat that much fruit. I almost never eat fruit. There is a lady who has muscadines on her fence around the corner, and I might have picked a few when she wasn't home, just because muscadine is my favorite fruit, by the way, bar none. And I do like fruit. But we weren't meant to eat fruit. We're not cows. We weren't meant to graze and eat constantly. And that's really where I'm headed, is just to hopefully give you some pointers and catch up with y'all and do some cooking with you and just show you that I am not stick thin. You go, oh. But if you saw me on Hell's Kitchen, you know how big I was. And I was even bigger than that before Hell's Kitchen. And now, this morning, I was 192 pounds. You're like, well, that's not... Trust me when I tell you, if you've ever weighed 350 pounds, 193 is pretty damn good. So I'm going to leave it at that. I've got my hibiscus tea here, unsweetened. This is what I drink. It helps to keep my blood pressure in check, because blood pressure is a big deal for your health. We will definitely talk about this. But I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope to see you soon. And these videos are not going to be edited, so I'm just going to say editing's not for me. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you soon. Bye, y'all.